What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on today. She is a reporter and a content creator and has a podcast of her own that we're going to get into and talk about. She is a diehard Atlanta Falcons fan, and she's breaking down. If you have been following her Instagram, she's been breaking down the 32 teams and their schedules. Her name is Megan, and without any further ado, I introduce to you the wonderful, talented, and the beautiful Megan. Hello there. How we
Hi,
doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. You look absolutely lovely today. I just want to start off by saying that.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. And first of all, I want to say thank you for bearing with me. I know it's pretty late over there, but I appreciate you staying up with me and rocking with me on my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. I want to ask you, how was your day? How's your week been going so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Really good. Been at work all day, so you know, fun.
Okay. Enough said. I like that. I just want to be able to also reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on, Meg. Um, I've been following your social media for a little bit, so I know you've been breaking down the NFL teams and their schedules. I know you're a huge Atlanta Falcons fan, which is great because that's where I graduated college from, Atlanta,
Oh no
Georgia.
way.
Yeah,
Was it Kennesaw
absolutely.
State by any chance?
Yes, it was.
So one of my best friends is the biggest Kennesaw State fan ever.
Wow.
He was
Okay.
like, "Oh my God, tell him go Owls."
Absolutely. Yes. I've got my undergrad there. I graduated a few years ago in 21, and I just got my master's from Kennesaw State as well. So, yes, no doubt about it. That school will always have a special place in my heart. But I love the fact of what you're doing, the content creating that you're doing. You have a podcast of your own as well that we're going to get into and talk about at the origins of that. And I just want to be able to hear your story. You know, it's rare that we get a chance to talk about ourselves because we're always creating content or going out there getting stories, but we don't talk about ourselves, Meg. So I definitely want to be able to get to know you. I love your accent. Where are you from?
Scotland.
Scotland. I love that. I really do. I really do. You have a beautiful accent, no doubt about
Thank
it.
you.
You're very welcome. I want to ask you this first question, and this first question, Meg, is the same question for everybody that hops on the podcast, and that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations growing up? But ultimately, why did you want to become, I would say, a content creator in sports?
Um, it's kind of difficult to answer that really because my lifelong dream was to be a teacher, and I
Mhm.
am a teacher. That's what I do through the day. I'm a high school English teacher,
Yeah,
um, and I wanted that since I was like 5 years old, and I went and got my master's degree in education, professional practice, and then I was like, what's next? You know, like what comes after you've
right.
achieved all the things that you've been working for forever. Um, and I kind of fell in love with American football very recently, only 2 years ago. Um,
Wow. Okay.
and there isn't a lot of people around me that I would necessarily talk to about football
Hmm.
because not many people really know it and can, just sit and talk ball and know what they're actually talking about. You know, you see the occasional person with a cowboy's jacket on because it's been on sale in one of the shops. You know, it's not because they
Sure.
actually know the game. So basically, I got really poorly last year, and I had to take some time away from teaching because I was too ill to be in school,
Hmm.
and I was kind of in bed, and I'm like I've got ADHD. My brain just goes 100 miles an hour all the time. And I thought,
Right.
what can I do? Like, what can I do that's productive and fun and makes this kind of period of being in bed feel a little bit less alone and like a little bit more productive, like I said. And
Sure.
I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna like set up a TikTok page just talking about football. You know, I don't claim to be an expert, I claim to be a fan. And
Hmm.
I wanted to connect with people who maybe didn't know all the rules and didn't know every single thing, but also to tap into the people who did and, you know, get that deeper understanding and connection with people in the UK and, you know, stateside as well, that I can learn from and that I can chat to. And, you know, like if the game's on, just, you know, my plan originally had been just, you know, a couple of people that I could just sit and watch the games with or whatever. And then it kind of just spiraled from there. It just was like crazy. And I thought, I actually really, really feel passionately about this. Like I really want to take this more seriously.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to do more than just, I don't know, talk ball with some people. Like I want to actually like start doing a bit of serious journalism and getting my name out there as someone who actually does know what I'm talking about a little bit
Hmm.
more so now. Um, and yeah, making bigger connections. So that's kind of the path
Absolutely.
that I'm on.
No, I love that, Meg. And that's a great first answer to that question. It really is. It's funny because I'm also a substitute teacher. I got my,
Oh
I
wow.
also, yeah, so I got my substitute license out here in Minnesota. That's where I'm from now. And I substitute teach at a few schools. And that's what got me the itch of wanting to get my master's degree because eventually I do want to do some teaching as far as interviewing and maybe even a little bit of journalism, but definitely interviewing because I feel that I have that niche to be able to ask the right questions, and I could definitely teach that to kids and students, and I want to be able to pay it forward because I've been in this journalism game for about 7 years, with a combination of me starting in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I started. While I was going to
Right.
Kennesaw State, I was covering football, baseball, basketball, and lacrosse, and then at times I would cover the Falcons and the Hawks as well.
Right.
So I was doing that. So it's translated out here to Minnesota. So now I'm doing Minnesota things. So I love that. I love the fact that you're a high school teacher. You got your master's too. It's always wonderful talking to a well-educated woman. That's for sure. But you mentioned you got your undergrad and your master's. I'm wondering what college did you go to, and was that the only school you were set on, or were there other schools that could have persuaded you away?
For my undergraduate, it was kind of always planned. There's only two universities in Scotland that do a course where you can do a combined master's degree where you get your education degree and your subject degree.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so University of Stirling and University of Aberdeen. Stirling is where kind of grew up, spent my childhood, teenage years, and then Aberdeen is where actually my uncle went to university. So it was a toss up between the two. Stirling had my heart from the off because I knew the area, my family was there. It meant I could go home on weekends and, you know, not be too worried about, you know, missing out on family time or missing out
Sure.
Sunday dinner or whatever. So
Sure.
Stirling was where I ended up. And yeah, I loved it there. And then for my master's degree, I actually moved to England just before I started my master's degree. And I was unofficially mentoring another teacher who was just starting her career. And she was at the University of Central Lancashire, and she'd said, "Oh, I'm going to go straight into my master's degree when I finish." And I thought, she's a brand new teacher, and you know I've been doing this for 7 years at the time, so I thought I'm going to just jump in and do it with her. And
Okay.
we did. So yeah, so the University of Central Lancashire was my master's degree. I did it whilst I was still teaching full time. So it was an evening course and it took a bit longer, but yeah. So I've always been one of those. I'll have 100 things going at one time.
I respect the grind, Meg. I do. I respect it. No doubt about it. Are you in England now? Is that where you
Yeah,
are now? Okay.
yeah.
So, are you and do you plan on going to any NFL games this year?
I would love to get down to the London games.
Mhm.
Is the most realistic answer, I think, because
Sure.
obviously, being a teacher, I can't just take time off during school time during season.
Hmm.
I have to kind of just go with when the schools are off that I can travel. But I might have a little media gig for the Super Bowl next year. So
Okay.
Might be out there reporting on that one.
Okay. So, mind you, I just went to my first Super Bowl, which was in New Orleans this past year. I was a part of the network, the BS3 network, which you met my boy Courtney Harden. I know you know him.
Yes. Yes.
So it was four of us that went down there to New Orleans. It was what a time that was. The food was amazing. It was a great time. So if you are in San Francisco next year, Megan, please do not hesitate and come up and say what's up to me. We got to kick it. We got to do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, no, definitely. Definitely.
That's for sure. I love that. I'm gonna ask you some favorite questions, and you just give
Okay.
me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions. Okay, so here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Anything Italian.
Ooh, okay, okay.
I'm an Italian at heart.
So are we talking like anything Italian, like fettuccine Alfredo,
Yep.
rigatoni, ziti? We talking
I'm
all that.
spaghetti bolognese is my signature. Everyone's like,
Okay,
make me some spag bol. uh,
okay,
so that
okay.
yeah.
I'm with you on that. Now, listen, England is definitely one of my places on the bucket list to go. I just got my passport last October, so I'm definitely going to be traveling to some places for sure. So if I ever do, or I should say when I do pull up, I'm gonna have to say what's up to you for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No doubt. I'm gonna need a tour guide because it's gonna be all new to me for sure. Um, Second question I have is favorite concert you've ever attended.
Oh no, that's tricky because I do a lot of gigging. Um, a little known artist named Alexandra Kay.
Hmm.
Um, she's from Illinois and she's a country artist. She's just come off of tour with Jelly Roll as a support act.
Oh, okay.
Um, so I'm a big country music fan.
Okay.
That's my jam is country music, and she inspires me because she released everything independently. So her first albums were all independent. She's just been signed to a record label now. But absolutely wonderful voice and amazing songwriting. So yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look out for that name for sure. I'm not too fond of that, but I'm definitely going to look out for that name for sure. I do like some country artists like Luke Bryan, Florida Georgia Line. Casey Musgraves is pretty good too.
Yeah,
So
she's amazing.
I do like some, and also Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen as well. Those two. But my favorite concert is probably The Weeknd.
Okay.
Yes, The Weeknd is definitely somebody who I love for sure. Favorite place, Megan, that you've ever traveled to?
Oh, I'm gonna go Italy again,
Mm.
and I'm gonna go probably Civitavecchia. So that's the port for going into Rome. I did a lot of cruising in my younger years. I used to cruise around the Mediterranean, and Italy's always, it's my spiritual. I call it my spiritual home. I love the language. I love the food. I love the culture. I love the coffee. Like,
Mm. Okay, I like that. Fun fact, I've never had coffee in my life. Please don't judge me.
wow,
Never had
wow.
coffee. Yeah, yeah, I've never had it. But Italy's also on the bucket list. I plan on actually going to a couple of cruises in the year of 26. One with my family. My dad's setting up one right now, but I want to go on another one as well. And Italy is definitely a place that we have in mind for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I like that. Okay. We're sports people, so I got to ask you a sports question. Favorite sport that you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport that you like to attend in person? It could be the same sport.
Favorite sport to watch on TV is NFL, like football, 100%.
Okay.
Um, although basketball is a really close second. So, and I would say, although I've never been to a game, it would have to be a football game that would be my favorite to see. I know for a fact it would be.
Well, we definitely got to change that because Megan, you and I are in sync. I would say football and basketball as well. Basketball in person for me. Obviously, me covering the Hawks a little bit, doing a few games with them, and the Timberwolves out here did them as well for a game or two. So I love basketball, but football on TV, I absolutely love that. Do you play fantasy football?
Yeah, I must be in about 16 leagues this year.
Oh my
It's a
damn.
problem. So I started my own fantasy league for Ballers Meg, and that grew arms and legs very quickly. There was too many people, so I had to create a second one. And then they wanted a basketball one and a dynasty one, and then we needed a basketball dynasty one. And then I got invited to the Scott Fish Bowl. So that's on there. I'm also part of two different networks. They all have dynasty leagues and
Mm.
yearly leagues. It's grown arms, and to be honest, I've got a list. I've got a journal that just has all of my fantasy planning in it for the season.
Okay. Okay. You are definitely, I've never met nobody in that many damn leagues before. That is amazing to hear. That's what's up. I love that. But if you have a cancellation, please don't forget about me because I am looking to join a couple of different leagues. I'm in one, but I want to join a couple more. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, cool. I will have a look at what's I can't off the top of my head, can't even keep track of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to either. That is crazy. Okay, that's what's up though. I like that. Final favorite place that you like to eat out at. I'm a foodie, so I love food. I love going to different places when I travel. Where is a place that you love to eat out at that's in England?
That's in England. I'm going to just be a little bit like kind of stereotypical white girl here, but I'm talking Wagamama's.
What's Wagga what?
Wagamama's. So it's a Japanese chain restaurant.
Okay,
Um,
okay,
and it's, like, and I always go for the absolute stereotypical katsu chicken curry. Like it's one of those like absolute
okay.
everybody picks it. Everybody who just doesn't actually eat Japanese food will eat a katsu curry. So that's me.
Well then, damn it, I gotta try katsu curry too. That's what I gotta do when I'm at Wagamama's. That's for sure. I love that. Okay, that's what's up. I appreciate that. Um, I want to talk to you about your day-to-day operation. Obviously, you're a teacher, but in the sports realm, what kind of content creation are you creating? I mean, like I said, I know that, but for people that don't know of you and know about you, I know you talk about the NFL 32 teams. You kind of break down the schedule, but you do a little bit more than that. What kind of content creation do you normally do? How often do you do sports content creation as well?
So yeah, at the minute I've got my fun little mini series of me predicting the teams, as you know, what their record's going to be next season. That's kind of just
Mhm.
a bit of off-season content filler, to be
Yeah.
honest. It was what can I
Mhm.
do that's kind of it's going to keep people coming back. It's going to keep people looking out for their team and whatever.
Right.
Um, so that's kind of just a kind of sideline. I like to report on the latest news, what's going on during the season. I like to on a Sunday during the season, I host a TikTok live every Sunday.
Okay.
For I guess it would be like what 1 p.m. games for you guys, or the earliest games.
Well, Central Time be noon, but Eastern Time is 1 p.m. Yes.
Um, Sorry, my dog has decided that he's just going to like set up camp and move my stand all over the place. Um, so yeah, so on a Sunday I call it the Meg Zone instead of the Red Zone.
Yep.
Um, because basically I did it one Sunday where I just was jumped on TikTok live. I was like, guys, I'm just going to go live for the games. Let's, if anybody wants to chill out and chat ball, jump in. And it kind of became this big thing where everyone was like, so this is every Sunday, yeah, we're just gonna like meet up and do the Meg Zone. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, sure, why not? Um, and so it went from again 0 to 100 where it was just me talking ball for a bit, meant to just be, chatting with a few people, to every Sunday doing the Meg Zone.
I love that. I really do. I mean, I have end zone on my stuff when I'm off on Sundays. I love the red zone and flicking back and forth. Um, I want to ask you, because you're a huge Falcons fan.
Yeah.
Did you become a Falcons fan? And what prediction did you give the Atlanta Falcons this year based upon their schedule?
Okay, so how did I become a Falcons fan is a funny story actually. I lost a bet.
Hmm.
So I I'm a teacher through the week, and I do security on clubs and bars on weekends.
Okay, now. All right.
And the bar that I was in at the time was a country bar, themed country bar. So it's kind of got that American vibe, a little bit of Nashville in the UK kind of vibe. And
Absolutely.
my boss is one of my like closest people in my life, and I made the mistake of saying I was quite new to the game at this point, to the security game at this point, and I was brand new to football. And we'd
Right.
been having a chat about how do you pick your team if you're from the UK? Like if you don't have any affiliation with anywhere over in the States, how would you go about picking somewhere?
Right.
And he was just like, well, you could always like spin a wheel or pick somewhere that you want to go visit or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was like, right, okay. And I said, I think it's going to be a quiet shift tonight. And in security, you just don't say that. You can't say that
Right.
because sure as anything, it's going to turn bad.
It's gonna pick up. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Uh, and he was like, you've just jinxed it. And I was like, oh man. He's like, right, okay, I tell you what, if it's a quiet night, you pick your team. If we have to kick anyone out, I pick your team. And
Mm.
I was like, okay, fine. It's a forfeit. I get it. 5 minutes later, there was like a fight broke out, and we were like removing people from the bar. And he just turned to me. I had one person, he had the other person, just turned to me and he was like, by the way, you're a Falcons fan now. As we're like taking them out the door.
Wow. Wow. And that's how you became a Falcons fan, by people fighting and getting kicked out of a bar. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. And it's the funniest part is that last season, I think I followed them more closely than he did.
Hmm.
Um, and he's been a Falcons fan for a long time. Uh, and it's ended up with me being, I would say, more obsessed with them than he is. So
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously with the Atlanta Falcons, I've definitely followed them pretty close. Living in Georgia for a lot of years before I moved out here to Minnesota. They had some pretty good games. I remember one particular game where it was a walk-off game. If you remember, they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and they walked it off in the Falcons in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That was a Thursday night game, I believe.
yeah,
Um,
was it against the Buccaneers, wasn't it?
yes, it was. That was one of my memorable games that I saw. It was a great game. Um, but now they seem like they've transitioned to that new quarterback in Penix Jr. Doesn't
Yep.
seem like they're going to go back to Kirk Cousins. What do you think about that situation with your team?
So just for the record, I've got them at 11-6 next season, which is our highest in a long time.
Wow,
Um,
11-6.
yeah, that's my prediction for next season. Optimistic, I know, but hey, we love a dreamer. Um, when they drafted Michael Penix, I was to say I was furious was an understatement. I
Hmm.
remember chatting to my friend, and we were both we I had taken the draft very seriously because it was my first draft.
Yeah.
So I had a sheet of paper, it was like an A5 sheet of paper, and I'd written down every possible outcome that I could think of where we could go, what position we could take. I'm
Hmm.
thinking defense. I'm thinking, I'm really honed in. This piece of paper was a rag by the end of that weekend. It was because it
I
stayed
bet.
with me the whole time.
Absolutely.
Um, and I'd worked on it for ages. I'd done a spreadsheet. There was all sorts of, goings on in my little brain trying to figure out what a draft was. And at nowhere on that sheet of paper was Michael Penix's name. Nowhere.
No, no, I was shocked. I was shocked when he got picked because the Falcons had the number 8 pick, and they
Yeah.
just signed Kirk Cousins
At
to
$180 million.
108. Yeah, they
Like,
just signed to do a big contract like that, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, what are they doing? But
yeah. But then
um, go ahead.
I think once we seen that Cousins wasn't coming back off that Achilles very well from when he was at Minnesota, um, once we seen him in those first few weeks in yeah, fair enough, we were winning games, but he wasn't a winning quarterback.
I,
And
I,
I
and I
could
know what you're
see
talking about. I know
that
what you're saying.
from the off.
Right.
I had
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Uh-oh. I'm losing you, Meg. Oh, uh-oh. I think I lost you. I think I lost her. She might be coming back. Here with Megan Orme. All right. Part of the media, content creator on the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast with your boy Chris Drummond. Um, but yeah. Uh-oh. I'm losing you, Meg. I can't hear you. You kind
Oh,
of breaking up. You breaking up.
is that better?
A
Sound
little bit, yeah. Now I can hear you.
okay.
Okay, I can hear you. Go ahead and say what you was gonna say.
Um, yeah, no, I think I was so annoyed about the Michael Penix pick, and that Achilles from Minnesota well at all, was he? So it became clear that there had been more thought behind picking Michael Penix than maybe what first came over.
Sure. Absolutely. I think that I think Penix could be a good quarterback. They definitely have some great weapons that they can utilize. I like Bijan Robinson at the running back position. I think this year he can have a breakout year, in my opinion. The South is
Yeah,
not really a division. If you look at the four divisions in the NFC, the South is not really something that jumps out at you, in my opinion, because I think all the other three divisions are just better. So I think the
yeah,
division is there for the taking if the Falcons really want to be able to step it up and take it. Now they're going to have a battle with Tampa Bay, no question
yeah,
about that.
yeah,
And that's going to be a battle to win that division for sure. It's going to probably take, I would say, the first team that gets to 10 wins in that division is going to be able to win it. Because if I'm not mistaken, the NFC South plays the AFC East this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
And I'm not sure what the other NFC division they play, but with them playing AFC East, I see a split. At least I can't see the Falcons beating the Buffalo Bills. It's going to
No,
be tough to beat Miami. Not to say they can't. The Jets they should beat.
yeah,
They definitely should beat the Jets. And New England, I gotta wait and see. I gotta wait and see,
yeah.
but
They're
they
an
should
unknown
definitely
at the minute.
right. So I like your prediction. I like your optimism about your prediction. I really do. Um, I want to ask you about free agency. Okay, I want to ask you about free agency in the NFL and talk to me about what was the move that surprised you the most? And I'll give you my first move, and that was Stephon Diggs. Did not think he would become a Patriot
Yeah,
after just 1 year in Houston. I thought that was a very surprising move. They paid him 3 years, $69 million. What about you?
yeah. I thought that was surprising. I thought Amari Cooper was surprising.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I was surprised at your Eagles man, what's he called? Darius Slay.
Yeah, going to
Um
Pittsburgh.
yeah. Now I had a whole scenario when we traded our first round 2026 pick for
Mhm.
James Pierce Jr. I thought in my little calculations, obviously I thought we were going to do some sort of magic with the Browns or with the Steelers, that Kirk Cousins was going to go,
Mhm.
and we were going to kind of get a first round pick back for next year. Obviously, we didn't. I think the fact that the Steelers were so aggressively going after Aaron Rodgers was surprising. I don't
Really?
rate the guy. I really don't rate the guy. I think that he's washed. I think he needs to hang those cleats up and do us all a favour and disappear off the earth, that would be great.
Wow.
I have strong feelings about Aaron Rodgers, and it's kind of like a running joke with my like squad round like on TikTok and stuff. Like they'll send me Aaron Rodgers cards with like Meg's favourite written on them. I'm trying to see if I've got one. There are usually some on my desk that are like
Yeah.
Meg's favourite player written on the Aaron Rodgers cards. Because I feel like even on his worst day right now, Aaron Rodgers could Kirk Cousins could do more for the Steelers than Aaron Rodgers could. And that's not me just saying that because I want rid of him and I want some of our, like money's back. But I just think that it surprised me how long they waited for him. The arrogance
Really?
of the wait and
Okay.
I thought that
Hmm.
to the point it annoyed me. I thought, how can you just, you're given an opportunity that realistically 32 men a year get to be a starting quarterback
Mm-hmm.
out of the whole world. 32 men a year get QB1 to start
Yeah.
the league, right?
Yeah.
How
Absolutely.
many people would give their right arm to do that? And
Right.
you're like sitting making a team wait all these months when you're, no spring chicken and definitely not at your prime. Maybe
Absolutely.
maybe don't be so arrogant and like take a look at yourself.
Yeah, but that's A-Rod. A-Rod, obviously, them 4 MVPs has went to his head. The one Super Bowl went to his head. It did not surprise me with Pittsburgh because if you look at their quarterback depth, who are they gonna put out there?
Oh
Mason
yeah,
Rudolph?
no,
Mm-mm.
I knew that they needed someone, but I just
Right.
thought, you know, if it had been me, I would have been looking to approach someone else. I would have thought even, you know, trying to think who else I would maybe have looked at, but Kirk Cousins is up there, fair game, and looking to move
I
would
would have
have.
kept Fields. They had
Oh
Justin
yeah,
Fields on their team.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Even Daniel Jones would have been an option. I know he went
Ooh,
to the Colts, but like,
ooh.
I'm
Oh,
not. I would prefer him to Aaron Rodgers.
Meg, that's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. I
That
mean, I
tells you how
mean,
much I dislike Aaron Rodgers, right?
right, right. Because Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness, Daniel Jones. And that's right. He is on the Colts, isn't he? He was on Minnesota, but now
He's
he's on the.
actually doing
Yeah.
really well, like at the Colts. Have you seen him in the OTAs and stuff at the Colts? Because
Well, I
it's
mean,
surprising, like because I mean we all saw his season last season. We know what happened,
yes.
but when you actually see him, it's like watching a different player out
And
there.
he should be a different player because he got to the playoffs. He beat Minnesota. I was I went to the game as a fan where I saw this guy literally by himself beat the Minnesota Vikings here in Minnesota. And then all of a sudden he just took a plummet. But he took
Yeah,
a plummet. It wasn't all his fault.
no,
It
I
wasn't
mean
all his fault.
who did he have? Who did he have?
He didn't have nobody. They traded away
Exactly.
Saquon, and they got rid of a lot of players. They brought in Malik Neighbors, but Malik Neighbors was the only guy. And, he had felt a lot of pressure because they paid him all that money to perform,
Yeah,
to take them to the next level. And he just wasn't that guy. Now he's on the Colts, probably going to be a backup to Anthony Richardson, which is fine. And he'll push Richardson because Richardson needs to be pushed. I
yeah.
think he needs
And
to
he's coming
be
off the injury.
yes,
Richardson's coming off that shoulder injury where they're not going to operate. There's nothing that they can surgically do. It's just rest up. But that's a
absolutely.
lot of reps to be missing this late in the off season,
It
you know,
is.
and realistically, we don't know how long he's going to be resting for. So for the Colts, that's a situation they need to be aware of, which is why I've kind of had my eye on what Daniel Jones is doing over there at the minute. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if they split the reps at the start. It really wouldn't.
Sure. Absolutely. I agree with you there. But he's also behind another dynamic running back. He has Saquon Barkley in New York. He has Jonathan Taylor out there in Indianapolis. It's not a bad idea to hand him the ball.
Yeah,
I think he could do very good things with the dynamic running back there because Daniel Jones is the dual threat quarterback. So it wouldn't surprise me if the Colts started him this season. Obviously they definitely need some optimism there with the tragedy that's happened with their ownership, with Jim Irsay. I think they
Yeah,
need some optimism there in that building, in that stadium.
no,
Um,
definitely.
have you been to a Falcons game before?
No, I've never been to a football game.
Okay, I definitely would love, man. You gotta come to a game. You gotta go to a game. It's just it's an out of body experience. It's something that's great, even if you're in the 300 sections of the stadium. Uh, that's where like, I mean, you see the Titantron, and yeah, they look kind of small on the field, but it's just a great experience engaging with the fans and talking with the fans and being there. I really hope you get to a game this year for
Oh, I
sure.
will. I will. It's on my list.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. I want to talk to you about your podcast. I want to talk to you about that. How often do you record? How long is it? Do you have guests on it? What is your podcast about? And talk to me about the origins of your podcast and how it got started.
So at the minute, the podcast is on hiatus indefinitely because I'm on different. So the podcast that I am on regularly every week is a
Mhm.
podcast called Hurdle the Line, which is by the Asleep at Work network.
Okay.
And so we podcast every Monday, and it's round about and between an hour and a half maximum.
Hmm.
And we pre-record. We don't live stream it. We pre-record it, and we yeah, every Monday is that one.
Okay.
And that basically was I was going to start my podcast last season, and then just when with ill health and everything else just
Yeah,
didn't work out. So it's kind of like in the background that eventually it will launch, but right now it's kind of more I do my regular host spot. I'm about to join the That Sports Podcast Network starting this Friday. And the Blonde Blitz with Deb Whitkiss.
yes, that's
Um,
my girl. That's my girl.
yeah, so I'll be on with her in some capacity. We're working out the kinks right now as to how it's going to work out.
Hmm.
But definitely on a section of her podcast going to be for the season, and then the That Sports Podcast Network. I will be on a Friday night and a Sunday morning uh, show with them, previewing the week and talking over the previous week, and it's all as a fantasy football podcast. So
I
uh,
love it.
yeah, I don't really have time for mine at the minute because I do work full time to
Yeah, yeah.
teaching and then security as a weekend, and then obviously doing my own content creation plus the podcast and stuff. So yeah,
You a busy gal. I like
I
that
am.
though. It's a beautiful thing to hear though. Obviously, you building these networks and being able to get on these podcasts and just talk ball, talk football, right?
Yeah.
I love the fact that I'm going to be doing an NFL special podcast coming up sometime in August. I definitely would love to have you on, no question about it. And that NFL
Yeah, yeah.
special, what we're going to talk about is we're going to predict MVPs, we're going to predict division winners, we're going to predict games of the season, what the hot games are going to be. We're going to predict comeback players. We're going to predict just all different kinds of things we're going to talk about, and it's an NFL special that I typically try to do every single year. Um, I would love to have you on that, and that's probably going to happen sometime in August for sure. The closer we get to the season, for sure. And I would love to have you on for that.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds fun.
Okay. Now we have reached a portion of this podcast. To now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk my interactive game called This or That. So, Meg,
Okay.
what this is I'm going to throw some things at you, and you get to choose this or that. So, are you
Okay.
ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Out of these two restaurants, which one are you choosing to eat at if you had to? KFC or Popeyes?
Popeyes.
That's my girl. Girl, we're gonna be good. I'm telling you, we're gonna be good, you and I. I love it. I love it. Okay. If you are eating chicken wings, which flavor would you rather put on a wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Boneless.
Do you eat them with a fork?
No. Who eats wings with a fork?
Listen, there's been people on this platform you would not believe. They would eat it boneless wings with a fork because they don't want to get their hands messy. I'm like, the hell with that.
No. The point in
I'm
wings
whatever.
is that
You said what?
the point in eating wings is messy. It's not, yeah, no, no forks.
Right. Get a wet wipe and go to work. That's all you need to
Yeah,
do. Wipe your hands off and just do that. I'm with you on that.
right.
Okay. These next four questions have to do with music concerts you rather attend. Since
Okay.
a country is your genre, I'm gonna ask some country questions. So here we go.
Okay.
Which music concert would you rather go see? Carrie Underwood or Casey Musgraves?
Casey Musgraves.
Okay, I like that. Which music concert would you rather go see? Jason Aldean or Luke Bryan?
Oh, Luke Bryan.
Okay, all right, I'm with you on that. Which music concert would you rather go see? Lady A or Zach Brown Band?
Lady A, only because I have a personal issue with Zach Brown.
Say what? Why?
Yeah, he treats women really badly.
Oh, well, that's not good. I did not know that. Oh man,
Yeah, I'm boycotting him.
that sucks.
Love his
No
music,
doubt.
but boycotting it.
I feel that. Last one of the music. Which music concert are you gonna go to? Luke Combs or Morgan Wallen?
If you'd
Oh, you
asked me a
said
year ago, if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said Luke Combs. I was a Morgan Wallen hater. I'm kind of a convert, so I'm going to say Morgan Wallen.
okay. I'm gonna say you got some good taste in music. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what's up. I like that. That's pretty cool. Um, this next question has to do with which sport would you rather watch on TV?
Okay,
Baseball or hockey?
hockey,
Okay. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
badminton.
Are you good at badminton?
Uh, I wouldn't say I'm good at it, but bowling is dangerous for me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Enough said on that. I think I know
yeah.
where you're going. I got you. Okay. Which Falcons player do you revere more? Kyle Pitts or Drake London?
Drake London,
Oh, okay.
easy.
You
Kyle
said
Pitts
that.
needs to go find a new team.
Meg, come on now. What?
He
Are
needs
you
to
serious?
disappear. He needs to go. He needs to go.
What if he has a breakout year this year? Are you going to convert again?
I mean, we've been waiting for a breakout year for him for the past however many seasons. We've
And
yet to
four.
see any brilliance.
But hold on though. To be fair to Kyle, and you're right, we've been waiting. But to be fair, he has improved his touchdowns each and every season.
Yeah, marginally. Come on. That's not enough. You need to be making plays, buddy. You're not making plays on the field. Like, disappear.
I love it. I love you, Meg. I really do. Keep it real. Keep it real, girl. I love that. Okay. Do you like desserts?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna name four categories of desserts. You have to choose one of these that you'll never eat again. So here we
Okay.
go. The first one is cookies. The next one is cake slash pies. So they're grouped together. The
Okay.
next one is candy. The last one is ice cream. Which one are you getting rid of?
Candy.
That's what, girl, damn it. We are in sync. I would have said candy too. What is your favorite ice cream?
Oh, mint chocolate chip.
Okay, fun fact, I've never had that flavor. Never had it. Um,
The best.
cookies and cream is my favorite for sure. I'm with you
Okay.
on that. With you on that though. Okay. Do you like potato chips?
Yeah.
Same format. I'm gonna throw four brands at you. You got to choose one of these brands you'll never eat again. So here we go.
Okay.
First brand is Lay's.
Okay.
The next brand is Ruffles.
Okay.
The next brand is Doritos. The next brand is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Ruffles.
Oh, hell no. No, you did not just say Ruffles.
We
Oh,
don't get them in the UK. We
what?
we don't have Ruffles in the UK.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like we've got Lay's is what Lay's across here is called Walkers.
Okay.
Um, and then Pringles and Doritos are the same, but we don't. You might occasionally get like them in the
Mm.
American aisle in a supermarket. You might see some Ruffles.
Oh my goodness. I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then okay. Well, then it's not as bad then. If you don't have the chip, then you if you don't have the chip, you don't have it. Man, the reason why I say that is my favorite chip of all time, which I'm gonna ask you yours as well. Mine is sour cream and cheddar Ruffles.
Okay.
That's my favorite chip of all time.
Okay.
What's your
Um. Oh, that's tough. Probably, I like a chili heat wave Dorito. I do like a chili heat wave Dorito, but I like Worcester sauce Lay's. You would call it Worcester sauce Walkers for us.
okay? So let me ask you this. Are you a buffalo wing person? Do you like a little spice with your wing?
I'm not. I can't really tolerate a lot of spice, but mildly.
Mildly. Okay, I'm mildly too, because I'm more sweet. I like sweet more than, the spicy stuff. So that's what I'm like too. Okay. I want to ask you this question, and this is a top four question. And I have two top four questions, but the first top four question I have is give me a top four of events that you would like to cover or like to attend. It could be either as a sports content creator or it could be someone as a fan. And I'll give
Okay.
you my four as well.
Super Bowl's number one,
Okay.
easily, easily number one.
Okay.
Um, I would love to see the Boston Celtics in an NBA Finals game. That would
Okay.
be probably number two. Um, I don't think I'd want to cover it though. I think I'd want to just be there as a fan.
I
I
like
mean,
that.
I would love to cover it. That's a lie, but I would love to just experience like, be completely immersed in the game and not think about, I'll have to report that.
Absolutely.
Um, outside of sports, I would love to see Eminem again, and I'd love to do some sort of coverage of that. I would
Yeah.
love to. What would my last one be? Tricky.
Mm.
Um,
This is a good question. I like it.
I'd like to go to the CMA Awards.
Oh, so you want to go to Nashville, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Mm. Well, listen, if you need any tips, because obviously I lived in Atlanta, Georgia for a lot of years. Nashville is still one of my favorite places to go to. And where the CMA Awards is held, it's a street called Fifth and Broadway.
yeah.
Um, right. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you been there?
No, no, I've not been, but I've done a lot of research.
Yeah. So Fifth and Broadway obviously is my favorite street. Every time I go to Nashville and I'm visiting friends, I stay at the hotel right across from Bridgestone Arena, and I go to the bars. I'm just a bar person that loves to go to bars. My favorite bar is Tootsie's.
Okay.
That's one of my favorites. But also like Kid Rock's bar and also like Blake Shelton's bar as well, which
I've
is on
seen a
the
bit of
same
Blake
strip.
Shelton's bar. Like I've seen it
Mhm.
on YouTube and stuff because I do line dancing in my spare time. The spare very little spare time that I have, I do line dancing. So
Mm,
it's
okay. I don't know how to line dance. Is that something that you could teach? That's something that you could teach me?
oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'm with you that. I'm with you on that. That's what's up. Okay. Yes, Nashville is that. My four um is NBA Finals, so I'm with you there. The Olympics, which is going to be in basically my hometown state where I grew up in California, and for 28. Um, I would want to do a national championship game, whether it's football or basketball, does not matter which one.
Yeah.
And an overseas game. I want to cover a game overseas. I just want to get the atmosphere. I just want to see the people. I just want to be. I don't care if it's Wembley Stadium Brazil, Mexico, somewhere overseas. Does not matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be amazing for me. That's my top four for sure. Since I crossed off Super Bowl, Super Bowl was there last year, but now I'm going to be a regular going to the Super Bowl for sure. So
it's
yes,
amazing.
no doubt. Um, what kind of advice has someone gave you and you have given someone about being in sports content creation, but also podcasting as well?
Sorry, I missed the start. You cut out at the start of that question.
Oh, I was asking what kind of advice has someone gave you, and also what kind of advice have you given someone about being in sports content creation and podcasting?
Um, I think the first person that I connected with online, that's actually now one of my best friends in the world. When I started, I didn't have a lot of confidence, and he said, "Just be you. You are enough," and that's all that anyone wants to see is the authentic person.
Mm,
Just goofing off, being brutal. Because I know that I can be brutal. I can be cut edge, and
yeah, we
and
just
he's
saw
like,
that with Kyle Pitts. We just saw
yeah,
it.
yeah, and Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, so that was the kind of best advice that I got starting out. And then when I hear like, so I obviously I'm a teacher, and the kids that I work with are, we'll say, troubled youth. So they're excluded from mainstream education. They're in an alternative provision due to behaviour, due to background, whatever reasons. And a few weeks ago they were talking to me, and John Cena followed me on Twitter,
Oh,
and they were with me, and I was like, oh my god, John Cena's just followed me on Twitter. And they were like, what? And they were like, I was, by pure coincidence, I was getting them to write newspaper articles at the time about a murder trial over in America from 1996. And they were like, is this what happens when you write for newspapers and when you do stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, like, the sky's the limit, you guys. If you want to, go out and get it, go out and get it. Like, you can do it, but you have to try. You just have to
right.
try. You'll get nowhere if you don't. And so they've kind of like taken, not that they're content creators or anything yet, but a lot of them are very interested in the fact that they see me doing it and they think actually it's not some pipe dream that some person that we'd never meet does.
Right.
It's something that anyone can do if you kind of set your mind to it.
Yeah, giving them some hope of
Yeah,
possibly doing that, right? Because they see you doing it, you being a positive role model. But you also being encouraging to them to be like, listen, guys, like you said, if you set your mind to it, you can be able to do this. And that was the craziest thing for me, Meg. It was like, damn, I can go cover sports and get paid for this. Like
yeah,
I never thought in my wildest dreams I could do that growing up. But until, you start to get older and you realize that, yeah, this is something that could be a possibility that you can do. You just don't realize it. So I love that. I love that advice and that kind of mentorship that you give towards your kids. And the same thing I do for my substitute kids as well. A lot of these kids are three-sport athletes because I'm in a small town. So they play 3 seasons. And I tell them, doesn't matter if it's sports, it can be any occupation, any genre. But apply yourself the same way that you apply yourself in practice, the same way that you apply yourself in the classroom. If you do that, you'll be successful in life. If there's anything that you do,
yeah,
but there's no shortcuts in life. There's no manual to life either. You can't read A, B, C, D and think step A, step B, and that's how life is going to be. Life throws you all kinds of curveballs, and it will. And you just have to be able to be tough enough and mentally strong enough to overcome adversity because adversity hits us all in
yep,
different ways.
yep,
So that's what I like to advocate to my kids whenever I do substitute teach. And I love the fact of the message that you allocate as well to your kids. I'm intrigued to know because I want to know since you've been doing your mini series, who did you have having the best record this year?
um I've got the Eagles, I think. Let me just double check if
Wow, got
anyone's on top of
the
it.
reigning Super Bowl champions. Okay.
Oh, and the Vikings actually. I've got the Eagles and the Vikings, but I've been very optimistic about it, in fairness. Because I've got them both at 16-1. So
Woo. Okay. I feel that. I'm gonna probably lean towards more the Eagles doing that. Actually,
yeah.
no. Actually, no, because I can't see the Eagles going 16-1. Because number one, Washington has gotten better with the addition of Debo Samuels. Jaden Daniels is
But have
probably.
you seen how fat he is right now? I'm not fat
I
shaming
did.
anyone, but
I
he is
did.
chunky, right? He is a chunky fella right now. Not sure how fast he's going to be on the ball.
Well, he got a lot of work to do. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He got a lot of work to do before he gets to September 7th, which is the week one of the NFL season. But Jaden Daniels he's pumped up a little bit of muscle. He's gotten a little bit stronger in the off season.
Oh, he's MVP for me next season.
Really?
Yeah.
I,
I
I
thought,
I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson is my MVP.
yeah, but we see him choke every year when it gets to the games that matter.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but
Why is it
granted,
different this year? You know?
granted, obviously, if Andrews catches the ball, the Buffalo Bills lose the game.
True.
That's just what it is. However,
True.
he did throw an interception in the game. Josh Allen did not turn over the ball, and that was the difference in the game. But I do like Lamar Jackson as my MVP. I don't dislike Jaden Daniels being MVP. I don't dislike that at all. I just see the Eagles. It's going to be very hard for them to repeat with all the losses that they've had, especially on defense, losing
Yeah.
Sweat, losing Slay. Um, they've lost some other pieces. I think they lost Hargrove too, if I'm not mistaken. They've lost some pieces defensively, so it's going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see how they play defense versus the league. And then Dallas picking up George Pickens. I mean, Pittsburgh gave him away
No,
for a
no
box
amount
of
of
cookies.
George Pickens, no amount of George Pickens is saving the Cowboys. Let's be honest. Like, come on, Dak Prescott needs to, Jerry Jones needs to respectfully disappear, and Dak Prescott needs to find a new occupation, and then the Cowboys might have a chance.
So you think Dak is the problem?
I think he's a big part of it.
Okay. I think it's well, listen, I think we both in agreement. Jerry definitely needs to move on. Jerry, Steven, the whole damn Jones family needs to
Yeah,
move on. Let's just call it for what it is.
yeah,
Now, Dak, I think, can play, but his problem is health. He can't seem
yeah.
to stay healthy.
No, he's injured.
Um,
He's
he's
injured
injured.
90% of the time. Let's be honest. Like,
He is.
I mean, that man has no luck when it comes to injury. But I also just think maybe pick a safer sport. You know, maybe go play darts. Like,
Pick a safer sport. I like that. Maybe he could play badminton. Maybe he could do that.
who be world snooker champion. You know, safer.
I feel that. I feel
Stay
that.
away
Now,
from large men running at you, please, because you know I'm already concerned for
yeah.
Tua Tagovailoa. I don't want to lose Dak as well. Like,
Mm,
you know, I don't think
I
he's a bad
understand that.
person, but I think somebody wrap him in some bubble wrap and give him a snooker cue, and the job's a good one.
I love it. I love that. Now listen, the Vikings obviously out here, Minnesota, they cheer for the Vikings very hard. They went 14-2 last year, so I don't think it's too much of a stretch to say 16-1. But there's a lot of uncertainty with JJ McCarthy. We don't know
Yes.
what kind of JJ McCarthy we are going to get because they putting all their chips in the basket with him. No
Yeah.
question about it.
I don't
Um,
think it's I think I'm not going to say Jaden Daniels style season because I think that would be very hard for anybody coming in and repeating. But I don't think he's got as much work to do as Daniels had because realistically we've got at Washington what Terry McLaurin, uh, Brian Thomas Jr.,
yep.
Brian Robinson Jr. Sorry, not Brian Thomas Jr. It's Jaguars.
Yeah,
Um,
he's Jaguars. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
yeah,
Brian.
Brian
Yeah.
Robinson.
Austin
Like
Eckler too.
Austin Eckler, right? But apart from that, your standout players at Washington before last season were who? Do you
Right.
know what I mean? Like
Right.
that there isn't many. Whereas compared to JJ McCarthy, look at you've got Jefferson there
And you have Addison too.
and
Addison's pretty good.
Addison, right?
Pretty good. Yeah.
You know,
And Hawkinson too. That tight end's pretty good. TJ Hawkinson.
AJ Hawkinson, yeah, and you've got the weapons
You
to
do.
throw to. You've got
You
the
do.
defense
Hmm.
that's behind you. Washington didn't have that when Jaden Daniels started. Realistically,
No. No,
not
they
saying
have
they
to
were
go
the
get some plays.
worst, but they weren't the best. Whereas, Minnesota have got something about them that I think if JJ can get his targets, laughing.
Well, no question. No question about it. I just don't know how he's going to look off that ACL injury. I don't know how
Yeah,
he's going to look. That's the biggest question with the Vikings because the Vikings
yeah,
pretty much have everything. Great coach, great coaching on the offensive side of the ball with their head coach and Flores as well. Defense is solid as well. They do have some weapons out there. Now, the Commanders also have some weapons too. Yes, we did talk about how big Debo has gotten. They still have McLaurin. They have Zach Ertz as their tight end, although he's getting a little older as well. They have two quality running backs in Robinson Jr. and Eckler as well. But the defense also has what? They don't. I don't think they have Chase Young anymore, but they do have Sweat.
no,
If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, I think they have Sweat on that defense. They have Marshawn Lattimore. Now he was getting cooked by Brown last year in that divisional game, but he has a lot to prove. This is the prove me season because they traded
yep,
for him. So
yeah,
I think the defense is going to be improved. It's just going to be very hard for me to see the Eagles going 16-1. I could see maybe 13-4. I can see that. I can
yeah.
see that. I can see 13-4.
I think
Because yeah, go
it's
ahead.
just gonna. It's all in the day, though, isn't it? Like realistically, we've not seen their new team, the Eagles' new
No.
team. We've not seen them playing. Like you guys haven't seen, McCarthy playing, but yeah. And to be fair, Washington aren't going to be as much of a threat if they can't get a contract deal with Terry McLaurin done because they
Yeah,
still haven't signed him, and it's not
that is
looking very
something.
positive.
That's a little bit rocky right there. He's not I know he's not a happy camper. They definitely need to get him signed for
Yep.
sure. I want to ask you these last two questions before I let you go. What is your surprise team of of the year? What team do you think is going to surprise you this upcoming season? With you going through your many with your many teams that you were doing calling out the schedules.
I think the Carolina Panthers are going to be a surprise for everyone this year.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Bryce Young, at the end of last season, Bryce Young, we started to see that glimmer. They have tightened that team. They have drafted well. They have had a good off season.
Mhm.
The reps are continuing. Bryce Young looks fitter than ever. Watch out. I'm not saying that they're going to compete in the South, but I definitely think they're going to have made big steps towards being strong competitors for next season.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Give me the Las Vegas Raiders. I hate to say it because I'm a Chargers fan. I really am. But the Raiders, I think, is going to be a team that Pete Carroll's going to have ready. Now he got Geno Smith. They drafted Gentry, and Brock Bowers is already top five, maybe top
Yeah,
three tight end in the league.
top three if
Uh,
he's given the right team.
No question. Um, I think the Raiders can possibly make some noise. Now, Crosby's heart is gonna have to be in it, for sure. Max Crosby on the defensive
Yep.
end because he's there pretty much by himself now. They're probably gonna put a lot of double teams on him. Somebody else is gonna have to step up. But I think the Raiders can be a surprise team, for
Yeah.
sure
I
next
think
year.
the one thing that sticks out for me about the Raiders is that comment that Devontae Adams made, was it 2 weeks ago, where
Mm.
he said, the difference between being at a team where there is light and atmosphere and kind of it's fun to come to work in comparison with the dark cloud over the Raiders dressing room, that over the Raiders locker room rather. I think that speaks a lot. So it's going to be whether how much difference is there So obviously, it's a few seasons since he's been there, but realistically,
Well,
hopefully
he
that
was
young
frustrated.
talent's coming
He was
in.
frustrated. He was definitely frustrated with the quarterback play. But
Yeah,
again, Derek Carr, not that great of a quarterback. He's obviously retired now. Aiden O'Connell, definitely not that good of a quarterback because
no,
what did they do? They brought in Geno Smith, somebody who's been pretty solid in Seattle. Um, I think that
but still mediocre, in my
yeah,
opinion. He's
definitely.
still on par. He's better than Derek Carr, but he's on par with McConnell.
Oh, no question. No question. He's definitely not top 10.
No,
He's definitely not top 10 quarterback.
no,
He's definitely in that 15, middle of the pack, mediocre,
yeah,
like you just said, range. He's definitely in that if you talk about the 32 quarterbacks. But I just feel that team, Carolina, they were showing promise towards the end of the year. I like Leggett. I do as a
yeah,
receiver. I like him. Hubbard as a running back. I love Hubbard as a running back.
yeah,
Bryce definitely needs to rely on him. Get that offensive line, keep going. The defense, I think, can really be a shock. They can be a
yeah,
shock because they can be a pretty good defense. I
yeah.
think.
Agreed.
I think they
Agree
can be
with
a
you.
pretty good defense, no doubt about it. I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness, I'm excited for when we do this NFL special, girl, because we're gonna definitely go back and forth. That's for sure. Um, Meg, this has been a dope podcast interview. Just learning about your origins and your background and what you do. I mean, from your security job on the weekends, from your Monday through Friday teaching job, and both of us being teachers. I'm substitute, you're full time, but both of us also really loving sports and the NFL in particularly. Um, I just love learning about your background and love talking sports with anybody who's passionate just like you, that wants to content create, that wants to be in fantasy football leagues, that wants to just be around the game. It's really a pleasure to be able to talk to you and bring you on my podcast and learn about your why of why you do what you do. My final question to you is there anything else that you would like to add about yourself or anything at all before we conclude?
I don't think so. I think you've pretty much got most of it, most of the details, I guess, behind it. Yeah,
I love that. Well, listen, obviously, we are definitely going to stay in touch. You working with a real one in Deb Whitcast. She is amazing. I can't say enough
yeah,
good things about her. And I would definitely be following your content even more so now because I'm a new fan. And I just want you to enjoy, obviously, the rest of your evening and the rest of your week. And you and I would definitely be in touch, Meg. Thank you again.
absolutely. Thank you. Bye.